Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Crazy Cool Family Podcast people, do you want to be
the most amazing family you could be?
The most amazing parents you can be?
The most crazy cool family - parents you can be?
We have this amazing resource we call Basecamp. What is Basecamp? Basecamp is more than a podcast. It's more than a YouTube video. It's more than a Facebook post. It's
more than a website.
Yes.
It's more.
It's a membership site.
It's actually an invitation for you as parents to come in and learn from our 30 plus years of experience when it comes to parenting. It's filled with all sorts of videos about all the things that you need to or you could learn about how to be a crazy cool family.
So all you have to do, it's so easy to sign up. It's free. And
that's a really good price.
And you have access, You have access to all of our content every day, 24/7, on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop. All you got to do is go to basecamp.crazycoolfamily.com. That is basecamp.crazycoolfamily.com.
Don't forget the dots, dot.
And it takes 2 minutes to sign up, and you'll start getting our weekly emails, our weekly Basecamp newsletter emails, as well as have access to all of our courses. You can do it in your small groups. You can do it individually. You can do it with your spouse. Basecamp is the way to learn to be a crazy cool parent.
So come on in. Come be a member for free.
Yep, we can't wait to connect with you. Hello, crazy cool parents. Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast. Don and Suzanne Manning, along with our special guest, Madeline and Larry Jones. Now, you might think Jones is a common name. We just picked up some Joneses off the street. But no,
they're cute. Let's
really
get them for the podcast.
No, this is our second daughter, Madeline, who used to be Madeline Manning, and then she married a guy named Larry Jones.
That's
and
you,
so
Larry Jones.
Now we have Madeline and Larry Jones. And so we have the Joneses with us to talk about, what are we going to talk about, Suzanne? You tell them what we're going to talk about.
Okay, so parents, what we're going to talk about is having fun with your small kids. But every time I hang out with Madeline and Larry, they really challenge my fun button, if you will. And I watched her kids for the first few days of this week, and then Sebastian came over too. So there were 3 small children. I was completely outnumbered, 2 toddlers, I guess 3 toddlers, 2, yeah. And I was like, it's just hard. It's hard. And so then I went on an appointment, and Madeline watched him on Wednesday, and she's like, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not hard. It was so much fun. We did this and this and this and this. And I thought, oh, okay. We need to tap into that because she is an expert on fun. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, how to have fun with your small children, with those small children that cry all the time, that whine, that throw fits, that are high maintenance, that are needy, that make messes, that do all the things that make you, none of that's fun. None of that's fun, but Madeline has a way of making it fun.
So, Madeline, why don't you start? First of all, if you're an Enneagram people, Madeline is a 7, so she is wired for fun. Right. First of all, so but I think
she's loud. She loves to laugh. She likes to,
Larry,
I would say borderline obnoxious.
Larry, would you say you have a fun wife?
Oh, yeah, for sure. She's the fun one. I wouldn't be in this podcast if it wasn't for Matt.
You must keep more on our side. You can relate more with us.
I don't do fun. She does fun. Great.
Well, and so before we get over to Madeline, Suzanne, why did you think it was hard? What was it about? Now, you're a grandma, for one thing, so we don't do it every day. But instead of being a mom, what was it about that was hard that made you want to talk to Madeline about that?
Yeah, well, it just for me, I think I see things through the lens of work. I'm a 2. I'm a servant, and I'm a helper, and so I want to get the things done. I want to get the babies fed. I want to get them, changed, down for a nap, and so I just see a big pile of work that has to be done. And so Madeline takes all those tasks and she turns them into fun. Like I just remember when she was a little girl, she would turn the whole house into whatever it is y'all were playing, right? I mean, tell us something about, I mean, like the whole house would be lava and they had to walk on pillows to get there, or she'd turn the whole house into the doctor's office and each bedroom was a station that you had to bring your little dollies to, or your pets or whatever. And so dinner time was always fun with Madeline. I mean, she just made it fun. And yeah.
Do you remember that, Madeline?
Yes, I do. I do.
And so what do you think about, like, what are your, why would you say that you would say it's fun versus mom would say it's hard?
It's not. So the thing that I think that she was trying to tap into is the way that I was made, like the way that I operate. And I see everything as an opportunity to have fun. Like everywhere I look, I'm just thinking, how can we make this fun? How can we make this fun? How can we make this fun? And so I think that might just be a place that like you're going to get in my brain, not because it's the right way, because it's just a different way of doing things of like, how can we make this fun? How can we make this fun? How can we make this fun? And I'm always asking that question. I'm not asking the question of, are we going to get all the tasks done today? Are we going to achieve all the things we want to achieve today? Are we going to help all the people we need to help today? I'm thinking, how can we make this fun? Always, like literally, from the moment I wake up, I'm like, how are we going to make this day fun? How are we going to make changing your diaper fun? How are we going to make this activity fun? So that's what I'm kind of hoping to share a little bit, is just a little bit of my brain of how I'm thinking that all the time and what that looks like in motherhood, and how a lot of things don't get done because of that, but a lot of memories are made because of that.
Well, and so before we get into the practical, which I think would be so valuable for those of us that don't think like that, it would be nice to have some, okay, how do we make this fun? Like that's a good practical thought. So think about that. But as we were talking about this, you said, my goal for my children is...
Yeah, so I don't really remember how this even happened, but every single time I think about my kids, like grown up, so my kids at my age, I think that I want them to look back on their childhood and just think, we had a blast. Every day with our mom was a blast. Every day with our siblings was a blast. Everything we did was so much fun. Not even like necessarily like we went on all these trips and we had all these adventures, although yes, I want that to be a part of it.
It's part of it, yeah.
But I just want them to look at their life and think fun. Like, every season was fun. Every moment that they had, cleaning the house was fun. Doing the dishes was fun. Going to bed was fun. I just want them to look back at their life and smile.
So my question would be also why? Because I mean, I know that I want to preface it a little bit because you are a woman who really wants your children to love Jesus, who really want at a very high level. You love Jesus at a high level. How does fun, come intertwine with the goals for your kids of loving Jesus, getting along, maybe being productive, being, responsible members of society, all those things.
Church
all those
planters.
And doing things for the kingdom. How does fun, in your mind, relate to all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, like joy has always marked my relationship with the Lord and my relationship with Jesus. I know Jesus through joy. Like, the fact that one of his first miracles was turning water into wine, I'm like, he's so fun. Like, that's such a fun thing that you did. Like, you took the party to the next level, And that's how I got, like, when I picture Jesus, I just picture him doing, like, him and the 12 disciples just laughing and having, like, a blast up in the upper room, just doing crazy things, just testing the Holy Spirit and crazy, just, like, having so much fun. And like in the joy of the Lord is how that has always played out in my relationship with God. I received the love of God, and I know the love of God through experiencing joy with him. And there's multiple verses, multiple examples that I just that have been like my anchor verses in my life, and they're all like correlated to joy. Like anytime joy is mentioned in the Bible, my heart's like, yes, I understand that. I resonate with that. And so just the joy of the Lord is how I relate to the Lord. And so bringing that into my kid's life just feels like an opportunity. Like, he created fun, and so he's the most fun person in the whole wide world. And so the more we experience fun, the more we experience Jesus, because he's the one who started fun in the beginning. Right. And so I just want my kids to experience Jesus.
Don't you think that some parents, maybe you can relate to this, that we equate fun with what we do when our work is done, that fun is what comes. And if we have too much fun, then we're not being productive, or we're not being God. And sometimes fun might be, oh my goodness, we're not being godly, because, godliness, we can't do things that are fun because maybe they're evil or whatever. I think parents, don't you feel like you have all of those thoughts? But you're saying that, you're equating fun to the joy of the Holy Spirit. And I just think that, even, there's some scriptures in here that you were mentioning to us, like Proverbs 17:22. a cheerful heart is good medicine, that joy is literally medicine to our heart, but a broken spirit saps a person's strength. I don't know.
Or another version is dries up the bones.
Yeah.
And so,
But a harsh spirit dries up the bones.
Spirit dries up the bones. Yeah. Or zaps your energy. Yeah.
And so really that's kind of would be your definition of fun really is the word joy even, right? Would you say that?
Yeah, integrating joy, integrating life into our household.
Yeah. And so, Larry, is that just exhausting for you?
I operate quite different than that. But I love having fun too, and I'm an easy person to persuade into fun. And so I jump in often, but there's times I get wrapped into my productivity mind because that's how I operate. I'm a number 3 on the Enneagram.
and so I operate, get it done.
Right. I achieve and get things done. I like a tidy house, and fun ruins that often. But it's worth it. It really is worth it every time to get to laugh and giggle with my wife and kids.
So you guys have been married how many years?
5.5.
5.5. So how is that focus stretched you, I guess?
I get to die to my expectations often.
Yeah.
So I think in that way it's stretched me because it makes me think really more long term. Temporarily, yeah, I'd like the house clean and I'd like these couple of projects to get done. But long term, like Madeline said, our goal, like when we look back, I want my kids to not think, yeah, Dad always wanted the house clean and he always wanted to get his projects done. I want them to think, I had so much fun with my parents. I have the best parents in the world.
Right. I'm
That's
sorry,
good.
I interrupted you, honey. What were you going to
No, he actually answered what I was going to ask, which is, and so that's good. And so let's talk about some practical things. What does fun look like? How do you bring fun into your day-to-day life? I know that, like, when I was visiting and we're, like, Larry's in the garage, he's got projects he wants to get done, and I'm in the house, in Madeline's house, cleaning up whatever that is. Madeline's like, come on, guys, let's go to the park. Let's have fun. Let's go on a bike ride. And, and I'm looking at Larry like, Larry, what are we doing? Larry's like, okay, let's go, and then we go, and it's the best time ever, and we should have, and it was a good thing. It was a good call in the moment. But what are some things that you do that just make it fun?
One really helpful thing that Madeline's done in the past couple of seasons, in the summer and this fall, she's made lists, and it's like a list that she makes little boxes with lists, check off things that you do with your family. And so there'll be like carve a pumpkin, go to a pumpkin patch, make a Dude Perfect video, because that's one of the things that Truett loves is Dude Perfect right now. And so it's like, great, let's make a disc golf one because I like disc golf. He likes disc golf. We're going to make a disc golf video, and we're going to put it on the TV and watch it together. And
I let him pick what he wants to do. So on there is eat a snack that he really likes and play a cool game. So we're trying to define what that means. But yeah, I would let him put things on the list. I put things on the list.
Yeah, so there's a big list
Truett or
of...
Larry put things on the list.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with the list. But checking it off feels great. But we have a list of a lot of things, and so that helps us, even if, if we don't know what to do on a Saturday and we're like, okay, we could lounge around the house and let Truett watch Dude Perfect and play outside or whatever, but we can do like specific things that are like, oh, let's go on a bike ride. We weren't going to go on a bike ride today, but it's on our list. Let's knock it out. And so it gives us
knock it out.
Well, that's how I think.
Fun out.
So it's helpful to have a list of things for me to, just because it's like, great, let's choose one of these list of fun things that we can do as a family that is exciting to do.
And so that's intentional. I love that. And so, but there's also super spontaneous. So they have a light in the kitchen that is what?
Defective.
So I don't know if it's a defective light
strobes.
bulb or whatever it is.
All of our can lights. I replaced the light bulbs when we moved in the house, and it's actually kind of frustrating, but we've turned it into fun. Every once in a while, the lights will just flicker for like 10 seconds.
Like
and we
strobe.
don't really know why. We've had an electrician look at it. Who knows? And I haven't been willing to try to figure it out myself yet. And so it'll just start strobing for like 10 seconds. And that is our dance party time.
Yeah, like those dance parties. And now our kids, our 2-year-old and our 1-year-old, do this when the lights go off.
They're up and dancing. When the lights flicker, we're dancing. Doesn't matter what's happening in the house.
We also just, I like to turn things into a song. And so we were having a hard time going to bed. And so that we go to bed at around 8 o'clock. And so we sing the song, it's late, it's 8, it's late, it's time to go to bed. It's 8, it's late, it's time to go to bed. And that helps us. And every time, and Truett knows the number 8. So we'll say, what time is it? He'll look at my watch. He'll see it's 8 and he'll go, oh. And he'll start going, it's 8, it's late, it's time to go to bed. It's 8, it's late. So turning anything into, there's a diaper time song.
I was about to say, how if your kids have a hard time getting their diaper changed, which they all do because they don't want to sit still, how do you put fun into that?
We got a little, it goes, it's diaper time, and then you teach them to say it, and then you lay down.
And they like it.
And they like it. It's diaper time, diaper time. So just making everything fun and song. Like, for example, another thing was this verse in Proverbs 17:22. Truett was having like a really grouchy situation with his face, and he kept being really grouchy about everything. He kept going like, And so I told him, I said, a harsh spirit will dry up your bones and you'll get all rotty inside. It kind of scared him a little bit.
She drew, pulled pictures up on the internet.
But I said, but a cheerful
said this around Halloween.
A cheerful heart is good medicine. So we have this old song from a thing we used to listen to when we were kids, and it says a cheerful heart is good medicine, good medicine. But it says, but a harsh spirit dries up the bones. And so anytime he would make that face or whatever, we'd say, True, what does a harsh spirit say? And he would go, dries up the bones, dries up the bones. And then we would be cheerful. And so just making different songs is fun. And dancing, we dance all the time, all day, every day. If it's time to clean up, we're in a dance party. If it's time to, right before we take a nap, we have a dance party. If a song comes on that we like, we tell Alexa volume 7, volume 9, and we have a dance party. And so we we have loud music bumping at our house all the time. If there's a fun song that we learn that comes out on a new, worship album or whatever, Hillsong Young and Free, we've got all their songs memorized, and we're dancing to them every single time we get the chance. In the car, our windows are down, and we're dancing, especially when we're fussy and we're grouchy, and it's the end of the car ride. Yes. And the windows come down, we turn on music, and we are dancing. You better believe it. So just different things like that.
And so what about cleanup?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different cleanup songs that you can also dance to.
And do things too and turn into a game. Like
yes, and there's different timers. Like I'll say, okay, I'll say, Mommy will intro it. Let's work together in this room for 5 minutes. And when the timer goes off or when the song's over, then we'll move to the next room. And so we'll just kind of do, essentially just turning different things into games, into fun, into like play.
Yep. And so we'll get a basket, and Truett loves basketball, loves all sports. And so we'll get a basket and be like, come on, throw all the toys. Throw them in the basket. Yeah. So he'll shoot them in there, throw them in there. And so that makes for fun for him while being helpful cleaning it up.
And so I would say that you guys have used the timer as your best friend, because I feel like you use it all the time. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes. You have to Truett, we've got to go to bed in 2 minutes, or we're going to have all of our breakfast finished in 2 minutes, or we're going to. And so I feel like
even like he wants to play basketball and be like, okay, let's see how many shots we're going to make in 2 minutes before we go to bed.
Because we want to say yes to fun, and we want to say yes to him as much as we can, but there's obviously boundaries and perimeters on those things. We can't just play sports all night long. We have to have some sort of boundary.
And so the timer becomes the bad guy. Right. And not you guys. When the timer goes off, then it's time.
Oh, we say, bummer, the timer went off. It's time to go to bed. Yeah. And it's like we're all kind of like, oh man, no more fun. Time for bed. Together. Corporately.
And so would you say you can train your children to be joyful?
I would say yes to
And with all the stuff that you're doing, you're creating an atmosphere. We talk a lot at Crazy Cool Family about culture, about what is culture? It's the environment that it's how you make it's the greenhouse, if you will, that makes your relationships flourish. I think that I've watched you guys with Truett, and with Truett is now 2.5,
almost 3 in December.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But and Truett is not. He is known to have negative sounds at times, but yet I think that you guys a lot of times flip that. With Truett, we're not speaking joyfully, or we're not, and I think literally that you feel like and with your second child, which is a daughter, Everly, she's just a little bit over 1. You feel like you're training them towards joy.
I think so. And one helpful thing that's working so far with Truett is we're like, oh buddy, you woke up in a bad mood. Why don't you go back in your room and throw your good mood or your bad mood away and come back out with a good mood whenever you're ready. And he'll go in there, and 1 minute later he'll be back out with a smile on his face, happy as can be. Right. Or if we're driving down the road in a car, we'll say, oh buddy, that's a pretty grouchy attitude. We probably should get rid of that. And we'll roll down the window and tell him to wad it up and throw it out the window and to find his good mood. And he does it, and it works for some reason. And so I think that's helpful to train him. Hey, we're not going to partner with a grumpy spirit. We're going to get rid of it, and we're going to choose joy as a family.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and he does, and it's true. And he's not naturally joyful. Everly is a little bit more naturally, she wants to laugh, she wants to have fun. But you even hear as the parent is the main person that's the voice in their heads and in their hearts, he'll say, oh, Mommy, this is a fun idea. Let's go out and sit in the front porch and have a picnic. And he's even starting to think of his own fun things. Or, oh, mommy, I have a fun idea. Let's shoot baskets together. You have this ball, I'll have this ball. And he'll say the phrase, this is a fun idea, or this sounds like fun, or I know tomorrow we can do this fun thing. And so I don't know, like, I think that was trained in him, this idea of, like, let's look at life through a fun perspective. Let's make fun things happen. Let's have fun ideas. Because I think naturally his little self is probably not that way. He's a little bit more like
Eeyore.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little more doom and gloom, a little more like, oh, woe is me. But that's not necessarily true. Anyway, so yes, I think it is really trainable. You just have to work at it.
Well, and one of the
it's
things,
harder.
Yeah. One of the things you've even done too is that when Everly's unhappy, so both of Madeline's kids are, I would say, very emotional,
Passionate.
Very.
That's the word we're using.
They're passionate. They feel really strongly.
They
so,
live
they're,
full
Yeah,
lives.
they live big lives.
Big lives.
And so Everly, when she's throwing a fit or whatever, and Madeline's in the car or whatever, you'll tell Truett to what?
I'll say, make Evie laugh, or let's talk to Evie and make her stop crying and make her laugh. And Truett will say something funny, and she'll look at him, and then they'll both laugh.
And he's got a
phrase,
code word
yes.
that he says to her, and then she laughs every time, no matter what she's throwing a fit about.
Yes, it's true.
What is it?
What's the code word?
Hugga mugga. I actually don't know where it came
It's
from.
Daniel Tiger.
There
It's
you
from
go.
Daniel Tiger.
It works. It works every time. Shockingly.
And
But
so
even
not
that-
only is Madeline brainwashing her children in a good way, washing joy over them, but she's even training them to bring that out in each other too, to look out for each other and encourage each other to be joyful.
Well, and so often we talk about a Crazy Cool Family that your example is more important than your instruction. And so literally when parents, if you are the example of joy with your kids, then they're going to have joy. Versus if you're the example, maybe like Larry and I are both threes, about getting things done and being productive. I was just having a conversation with our oldest son, Michael, this weekend actually, about how I have given him the gift and the curse of productivity. That we look at life through the lens of getting things done and look at relationships by wanting to accomplish things through them. And so, there's good in that because we really do get things done, but also sometimes we miss out on the joy of life, or we get distracted from our relationships and we look at our relationships through the lens of getting things done. And instead, what if we looked at them through the lens of joy?
Mm-hmm. And so to speak into that though, that is all who you are and what you do, but one of the things that balances that, I feel like for you, is that you love adventure.
Oh, sure.
You love to go and do. And so and that's you guys too.
Yep.
And so what are some of the adventures that you've done with your kids, that you've taken your kids on?
One silly one, just literally to have fun. We were with Truett and Branson for his birthday-ish. Not
Everly was
kinda.
there too.
Was Everly?
Yeah. She was a baby.
And it was like frigid cold. It actually ended up snowing like a lot the next day. It was frigid cold this one night, and we went and played putt-putt out in the freezing cold. And maybe the kids were too little to be in that cold air.
They were like barely two. And,
Truett remembers. He was 2 years old, and he remembers the
August,
color golf
September,
balls we
October,
had,
November,
where we
4
played
months.
it, what month we were there. He knows everything about it, and it was a blast to him. And now he's addicted to putt-putt golf. And so that was just like a fun, random memory that we had with Truett.
Yeah,
Well, and
and I
y'all
think,
take them hiking?
yeah, I think just in general, we like going on adventures, we like doing things, and so we just bring them with us instead of them being like a chore or a task or even like a responsibility that's going to make it harder. We just committed to like, no, we're going to go have fun. I'm going to be having fun wherever I go. You like adventure, so we're going to be doing fun things, and so we want them to come. Even this recent trip that we took to Branson, I was like kind of sad that they didn't come with us because I was just thinking about all the fun that they were going to miss out on that we were going to be having. And so we've taken them to Dubai. We went there this summer. That
47-hour plane ride.
Yeah, that was intense. But and then we just like have taken them to we had a Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend. We went to Tulsa. Then went to the zoo just for fun. We were like, let's just drive and have an Airbnb and go there. Or bike rides. They had like a little bike trailer, and randomly in the afternoon, we're like, let's just all go on bike ride, a big long bike ride together. Or there's even like a whole list of fun things that I want them to be doing. There's a lake by our house. We're going to try fishing this spring. And so just like including just like any adventure that we would want to go on, bringing them along. We took them on this big long 2-mile hike that was really fun, that tired Truett out for at least 4 days.
And
that
us.
was amazing. And us, yeah, we were all sore.
Carrying them.
So just any adventure that we would go on or that we would think is fun, we want to include them in on.
Yeah.
too.
Yep. And when we had kids, or when we were about to have Truett, we decided, we don't want them to take the fun out of our life. So maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but we didn't want to be limited by having kids, but we wanted to bring them along and do things with them and have fun with them, instead of just sitting at home and saying, oh, we have 2 kids, we can't go do this or that. We just bring them along, and we're like, we'll figure it out. It's going to be fun.
It's definitely harder, but it's definitely worth it.
That's good.
Yeah, so what do you say to those parents, though, that are more, they're not quite 7s on the Enneagrams, that are more like order, and yet, I'm sure parents are sitting there going, oh my goodness, I bet their house is a mess the whole time, they never get anything done. What do you say to those parents, and what would be your recommendations to them?
I would say, like Larry was saying, just zoom out and look at the bigger perspective of your kids' lives. And it doesn't have to be fun. It could be anything. But like when you think about your kids when they're in their mid-20s, what do you want them to look back in their childhood and think? Like, my childhood was blank. Whatever that is, whatever that fill in the blank is for you, then make that happen and sacrifice other things to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, we just have to be disciplined in other areas of our life. So like, for example, when the kids go to bed, I usually bathe the kids, and Larry does like a quick house tidy. And so every night when we go to bed, I said this to Larry, I said, every night when we go to bed, the house is clean, ready for the next day of fun. And Larry was like, that's not why I clean the house. I was like, yeah, that's why I clean the house. So tomorrow we can wake up and have fun. Like, if we want to wake up and make pumpkin.
It's a clean slate.
Yes. If we want to wake up and make pumpkin bread, that's what we're doing, or whatever it is. And so that's something that just,
so you would say, like, let me just jump in there for a minute, that you may have the house messy during the day, but really you would say most of the time your house becomes clean by the end of the day to get ready for the next day.
Yeah, so there's
so as soon as the babies get out of their cribs, their house is a mess. Yeah. You saw it here all week long because they play with
I can always tell when the babies are here.
And that's okay with me. I'm like, that's okay for us to live and to have fun and to make memories throughout the day. And we'll use nap time or we'll use bedtime to get our lives in order or do our things. And so that means like there's some different disciplines that we like have put into place, like whatever it is, like not having as much time to ourselves or not doing this or not doing that, in order to implement, like instead of using time during the day to clean the house because we're having fun, I'll use the evenings or the afternoons.
Well, and I just think that's such a great principle for parents is that, like one thing you can do to get so where you can release yourself during the day is to believe that and have a habit of, it's going to be done by the end of the day. We're going to have everything kind of cleaned up and done, because you can live with temporary chaos. It's just when it becomes, I feel like a
chronic.
Constant.
Yeah.
Well, and chronic.
Chronic can work.
I feel
Concentrated.
I feel like that some parents get into this cycle as they're trying to have fun and trying to have joy with their kids, that all of a sudden their house is always a chaotic mess. Mm-hmm. And that actually creates stress.
Right.
And so I really want to just, I really wanted to stop on that for just a minute, because I think that's one of those principles that let's have fun during the day. But, like we would always say, hey, our room is like for our kids. Their room, you remember bedtime. I mean, your room was one of those, is that your room was always clean. And that way you start the day fresh. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great way to help the people who are, a little bit less fun, maybe, be able to release more fun into their families.
That helps me function. Just cleanliness in general helps me to function at a higher capacity than when the house is a wreck. Like, even connecting with God in the mornings. Like, if I'm going to spend time with God, the house needs to be clean. At least the table where I'm sitting needs to be clean. Yeah. It's just helpful for me. And so cleaning up the night before is a game changer. And even one thing that has helped is being a little bit more organized with their toys. So we have different boxes. And so it's like, okay, we have this box of, it's like a train toy, wooden train toy, and Truett loves it. Great. Once you're done with that, just throw it back in the box, and then we can get out the next toy. That way the house isn't a complete disaster, making it, when it's 9 o'clock at night, you don't want to clean up 100,000 things. You want to clean up maybe, none, but maybe a few things instead.
Well, and one of the systems you guys were just talking about is that you had toys in the living room, like a basket of toys, and you decided, nope, all toys go to the bedroom. Now the only thing that's in there is a box of books and then some baby toys. And you even said, yep, I'm putting the baby toys away because she's a toddling now. I don't even need that anymore. And that helps too. We did that when they were growing up. We had a playroom. And so the toys didn't come downstairs. Mm-hmm. And if a toy did come downstairs, then it pretty much went right back up. And it for sure went up that night when they were going to bed. Hey, Greg, any toys down here, take them up, because our living space, it goes back to our living space, needed to be needed to be clutter free, and I do agree with that I think that does create an environment and a space for more fun when you don't see all the stuff screaming.
And just including them in your cleanup too is helpful, making that fun. So like, for example, Everly and True both know how to clean a toilet because they have Clorox wipes, and when it's time to wipe down a potty, we are all in that bathroom together. I'm like Evie, you got the Dyson, True, you got the potty, I got the bath, ready, go. And we turn on some music and we get that bathroom clean. And so just incorporate, even it's like include them in that too. And they both they know how to clean up.
That's like a Dude Perfect video on its own.
Toddler cleaning.
In case y'all don't know what Dude Perfect is, just YouTube. But so as we kind of land this plane a little bit, one of the things I'd love to just come back to is we talk a lot at Crazy Cool Family about values. And what's a value? It's something that's just important to you. What's important to you for your family. And so I hope if you get one thing out of this podcast, make a value of your family joy. That your family is going to, that your kids, what you said over and over is, our kids are going to look back on their childhood and see it filled with joy, filled with laughter, filled with fun. They're not going to look and say, man, mom was always on me all the time to, make sure that everything was perfect. I don't think anybody wants their kid to look back on their childhood and do that. Well, guess what? If you're going to have a childhood of your kids looking back at a childhood of joy, guess what? You need to be joyful. You need to be doing things that create joy in your home. And hopefully they've given you guys some great ideas to be able to do that. It doesn't matter if you're a 7 or it doesn't matter if you're a 3 or whatever. God tells us that joy is important, right?
Yep.
Any parting words?
Any last?
I would say just another practical that we talked about that I didn't say was another thing that I make sure that my kids do every day is like have a deep belly laugh, like biggest, like like laugh so hard that they throw their head back uncontrollably. And so if that hasn't happened in a day, usually I make it happen through like Everly loves to be chased, and so I'll just chase her around the house and she'll fall on the floor and scream and laughing, or
diaper, like putting their diaper on their jammies and tickling them and blowing on their tummies.
Or tickling them, or True. And I will make jokes. We're really into rhyming, and so we'll say, mama llama, mama llama, and we'll just laugh and laugh and laugh. And so just like if you are having a hard time and you're just like running into like stops of like, how can I make fun? Or like laughter is fun and it brings fun in any situation. So cultivating laughter in your home, whatever that means. So if that's watching a funny video, or if that's tickling them, or if it's just chasing them around the house, or if it's dancing, or whatever it is, if it's you being silly, like don't be afraid to be clamorously foolish with your children, because why not? There's like no reason not to. And so
did you just use the word clamorously?
Yeah, that was a good word. That's a good word. I liked it a lot.
Do we know what that means? What is
ridiculous? It's just crazy.
And I love that. I mean, children's laughter, that's medicine to the soul. I mean, that right there is joy. I just wish we could bottle that. I mean, but you know what? If you have small children, you don't have to bottle it. You have access to it. Just bring it out.
Well, and it really makes us laugh more. And so, so parents, I hope you've gotten a lot out of this podcast about bringing joy into your home, about bringing laughter and fun, and it's so cool. So thanks guys for being with us. Thanks for sharing your joy with us. And we'll see you next time. Go be crazy, parents. crazycoolfamily.com